it's Emma. I wish I could be in your classroom with you, but because I can't, I'm doing this video for you. I want to show you how we can read, write and spell really easily and quickly. And so we're going to be doing things that are going to really speed up the way your brain processes things, and we're just going to really make it a lot easier for you. So I want to talk to you today about the Speedy Six that you're going to be doing with your teacher, but I'm just going to show you this as kind of like a template so you know what you're going to do every day. You're just going to use different words and different sentences. Before we can get started with this SSP Speedy Six, I just need to show you what duckhands, lines and numbers are and what we're going to be doing so you understand SSP, because it's a really quick way to wire your brain for reading and spelling.
So you use your duckhands from left to right. So if you're going to duckhand the word chip, you'd go ch, I, p, chip. So you're going to use your duckhands from this side, from the left-hand side. So you're making your hand into a duck's beak. And you're just going to start from this side out in front of you. And you're going to move your duckhand every time it's a new speech sound. And that's just when your mouth changes or when you feel your tongue move. So I want you to really think about what your mouth does and listen for the sounds. But at the same time, your duckhands are going to duckhand the word according to the speech sounds. So if it's a word like sip, you'll go s, I, p, sip. If it's a word like happy, a, p, e, happy. If it's a word like cheese, how many duckhands? Ch, ease, cheese. Always remember to blend the word after you've done the speech sounds. So think about, when does my mouth move? Ch, that's the first one, ch. What's the next one? E. What's the next one? Z. So it would be ch, ease, cheese.
Pin. And I don't care how old you are, you've got to use your duckhands.
You've got to use your duckhands to check the sounds you've heard, then just lines and number them when spelling any word.
Now, unfortunately, some grown-ups have become a little bit confused about the speech sounds. So just doing the duckhands has become something that's a little bit too complicated. So what we're going to do is make it really, really simple. So we're going to first, you could close your eyes and use your duckhands. So I'm going to close my eyes and think of like I might be reading a story. So I might want to code map the word story. So what I'll do is I'll go story. Story. How many times did we change our mouths? How many times did our tongue move? Or the speech sounds actually changed? It changed when I went story. So actually, if I was to do a line for every speech sound, I would go s, that's one, t, that's two, or, that's three, that's four, e, that's five, s, t, or, e, story. Duckhands, s, t, or, e, story. So that's really, really simple. Then you look at the word and you can see how the word was code mapped. So in this particular word, it was code mapped like this.
It's like we can play a word like a speech sound piano. S, t, or, e. Story. So we know where each speech sound is going to sit if we play it like a speech sound piano. This gives us order. It makes it very organised for our brains. So if I say to you, where does the t speech sound sit? You could play it. You can either close your eyes and play it, or you can look at it. You can physically look at it. Where's the t speech sound? S, t, or, e. It's going to go on number 2, isn't it? All of this helps us with our code mapping. It helps us hear those speech sounds, work out which speech sound line it would sit on, and work out which letter or letters are going to be used to represent that speech sound. That's why I call them speech sound pics. They're just going to be pictures of speech sounds. Like in the word story, s, t, or, e. All the pictures for the word story. So, s, t, or, e, story. And what we're trying to do is get your brain to see the word, even though it's not code mapped for you, because it's just there in black. I want you to be able to code map it so you can really see that word is really me just talking on paper. You might already recognise a lot of whole words, but that doesn't help your brain to learn as much as it possibly can about how we talk on paper, how all of those 46 or so speech sounds we use are translated onto paper. Every speech sound is used and every letter is used, so it's really, really simple. So there are only 26 letters, and we have lowercase and uppercase, but there are only 26 letters. So those letters are used to represent our speech sounds. We just use them in different combinations. So one letter might be used, or it might be lots of letters, representing a speech sound pic, a picture of a speech sound. Think about the word 8. We actually use only 2 speech sounds. A, t, 2 speech sounds. So those letters, E, I, G, H, they're just the letter names. Those letters are used for that sound pic for the A sound, the A speech sound. And the T is used as a picture for the T. So I want you to remember 26 letters, about 46 speech sounds, and how do we use those letters to represent those speech sounds? There are about 200 sound pics that we use to represent all of the words in the whole of the English language. That's every word you'll see in the dictionary and more. So it's very, very simple. And unfortunately, a lot of people have made this really, really complicated. So we're going to uncomplicate it and make it really simple for your brain. That's why we're calling it code mapping. Speech sounds, which you can use even if you can't read and spell at all. If you can talk, you're using speech sounds. So those speech sounds that you use, how are they going to map with the letters? Now, there are a lot of words that we use. I call them high frequency words because we use them a lot. So what I've done is I've code mapped them for you. There are about 400 of them. And these are the duck levels. There are 7 duck levels. So what I've done is I actually show you how these words were code mapped by the Speech Sound King. Now, there's a whole story about the Speech Sound King, which I won't tell you now, but the Speech Sound King created the code. But the code was originally created based on his speech sounds, the way that he said words. That's why he used the A and the N and the T for the A, N, T. You might not say ant, you might say ant or something, you might say it in a different way. So your speech sounds might be different, but the Speech Sound King said it in a very proper English accent. So it actually helps us with our code mapping because you can understand why a lot of words were code mapped in that way. And we also get really excited about looking at the origins of words and why words were created like that and what they meant and what have you. But what I've done in the duck levels is I've given you 400 high frequency words. Now, some people teach these as something called sight words and they tell you to learn the whole word. But I think that's stopping your brain from learning so much more about those words, and especially as those words are used so much. So we really want to understand them. We want to understand how our speech sounds link with the sound pics in those words.
And right now, I've said to somebody on YouTube or Facebook, I can't remember what it was, I said these children, because somebody was saying children in year 2 can't spell the word said.
Yeah, we can.
And I said, well, do you know, not only can they spell the word said,
Yeah,
sounds are instead.
Olivia.
Three.
Draw the 3 lines.
Good job, Olivia.
And put your choices on the top.
Good job, Zach.
Now, the SSP approach is about the way that we do things. And the SSP approach is about looking at ways to make it as exciting and challenging and interesting as possible for every single person that's learning to read, write and spell. Every child, every student doesn't want to learn it in the same way. So although we have the same approach for basing everything around code mapping, and we have the program, which means that every single person is going to learn everything they need, we do it in ways that are exciting for everybody. You might be interested in Minecraft. So you'll look at all the words relating to Minecraft, you'll say those words like passive mobs, and then you'll think, how are those words code mapped? We give you brain training lessons, but you do a lot of the work yourself because you use things you're interested in and then you code map them. And that's going to not only help you learn more about whatever you're interested in, but it's going to help you understand more about the code because you'll start to see patterns in words and you'll start to understand some things that people teach as rules, spelling rules. You won't need to learn them as rules because you'll discover them. But you'll discover them in the way your brain would actually prefer, and you'll become really curious about code mapping, about what you're code mapping, and also about the actual understanding of what you're reading and you're writing. So it becomes about everything. That's the SSP approach. It's about reading for pleasure. It's about being excited about learning.
Four. You. K-r-oo. Crew. After the dance, I want you to write out all of those words and investigate them. For example, in the word floor and jaw, you can hear the or sound, which is the picture for or in f or and jaw, jaw. Play speech sound detective. Here's the spelling cloud for or.
Here's a little something just for you. Just you and your whole mob crew. Board left with nothing to do. Get proper mad deadly. Let it go like you got no shame. Get wrecked like you got no name. Get busy with the YUK. Get proper mad deadly. Move it, mob style. Move it. Mob style. Mob style.
Hey, what's up? I'm Deeks.
And I'm G, and we're here at Carriage Works in Sydney.
And hey, we got some deli curry for you that we've all come up with. So you ready to check it out?
Yeah, you know it. We made it for you. So get up out of that couch. Everybody's sitting down. I know you're all sitting down there. Yes, I'm looking at you. Now, Karen, all right. So
The is, this. Is. H-ow, how. W-e, we. Do, do.
This is how we do. This is how we do. This is how we do. Yeah, chillin' laid back, straight stun. Yeah, we do it like that. This is how we do. This is how we do.
Now write them. Say the speech sounds as you're writing them, and then underline the sound pics when you've finished. 5 words. This is how we do. What do you think, Katie? Do you think they're going to be able to do it?
It's no big deal.
So the SSP approach is about making it as fun, challenging, relevant as possible. You saw the spelling clouds. So as well as coding a lot of high frequency words, what I've also done is thought of all the pictures for all of those 46 or so speech sounds, and I've put them in a spelling cloud for you. So again, it's really nice and organised for your brain. Some teachers manage to have enough space on their walls to put them all on the walls, and we've got different size clouds. Some people have to hang them because there's not enough space. Some people put them on old television boxes or plywood or whatever so that you can move them around. It's really useful if you can have your own, But first of all, before you can actually use the spelling cloud keyring and know where the sounds are in all the levels, you really need to have the clouds, all of them up. All of them are up, even if you're only just starting prep. Because when you're learning to code the words, you're not just going to use words that have just got a few sound pics in. You want to be able to investigate all words, even though you will be learning the sound pics in a systematic order. So the main thing you're going to be focusing on first of all is just your code mapping. It's just really thinking about those speech sounds in words. Look at the words. So if you come to a word in a book and you're not sure of it, your teacher or your parent or whatever will tell you that word, because that's far quicker way for you to learn to code map. If somebody actually tells you the word, and then you can work out how that word is code mapped, then you can work out the parts in that word, and that's going to help you in the future. Now, whilst you're actually reading, if you come to a word you're not sure of, and you've already tried the follow the sound, say the word technique that we use in SSP, your parent or whoever will just tell you the word so you can carry on reading it and not lose the meaning. So whilst you're actually doing your reading, if you come to a word, then just stop for a second and your teacher or your parent will tell you that word. So like we said at the beginning, if the person tells you the word, go back to it, not whilst you're in the middle of actually reading, but go back to it afterwards and then code map that word to make sure your brain is not only going to recognise it in the future, the word, but also understand why it's coded like that, so your brain can keep learning. You're constantly cross-referencing. Your brain's like a computer, and you keep finding out new things and then linking it with other things. It's really exciting. So if your school or your parents or what have you are using SSP, you're going to hear my voice a lot because I'm in all the brain training videos and what have you. You're going to hear my voice a lot, which is useful because I speak with an English accent. It's actually going to help you understand the origins of code mapping and then to be able to link that with how you speak, because you probably speak very differently. Okay, so I'm going to do a Speedy Six session with you. Now your teachers are going to just follow this. They can do it from the handbook or what have you. It's the same setup every day. We just use different words. So let's do the 6 activities. On the first one, I give you a word, and it can be any word. I like to choose really delicious words, really long words, words that are relevant to me, something exciting or something I've read about. Choose a really exciting word. The word I'm going to choose today, frenzy. The word is frenzy. Does anyone know what that means? Can anyone put it in a sentence? Let me put it in a sentence for you. The dog worked himself up into a frenzy. He loved to play with that ball. Frenzy, it's like a state of excitement. If you've got time, you'd stop now quickly to talk to the person next to you about something that you think of when you think of the word frenzy. Then you need to use your duck hands, your lines and your numbers to do speech sound lines for the word frenzy. You have to think about what you can hear when your mouth changes, when your tongue moves. How many speech sound lines are you going to need for the word frenzy? When everybody's done their duck hands, lines and numbers, everybody stops. You're going to look at what everybody got, see if people got different speech sound lines and then talk about why. Let me show you what I would have done for the speech sound lines for the word frenzy. Z, e, frenzy. Z, e, frenzy. Z, e, frenzy. Play it. Z, e, frenzy. Then your teacher might say, what do you play on number 3? So it must be the speech sound z, e. On number 3 is the speech sound . Your teacher might say, what do you play on number 6? So you play it. F, r, e, n, z, e. So you play the speech sound E. Remember, this is just our speech sounds. It's just what we can hear. Doesn't matter if you know how to spell the word already. What matters is what you can hear. Your teacher might also say, where did we play the And you need to tell her the number. F, e, n, z, e on number 2. We're doing something called segmenting. It's really important. Now, when you first start doing this, your teacher might then actually write the sound pics on the lines for you, so you can see the right sound pics for that word. Your teacher knows the right sound pics for the word because she can look in the dictionary, he can look in the dictionary. The dictionary is just the Speech Sound King's code mapping book. It shows how we correctly spell every word. But when you've been doing this a little while, your teacher might say, no, you choose the sound pics to go on the lines. And you'll decide what could go on the number 1 for f. What could I do for the picture for and for and for n and z and e. So you make your choices. Now you might make your choices and then think, do you know what, that just doesn't look right. So then you change it. Let me show you the word. So if you did had a few minutes to choose your own sound pics on the speech sound lines, then when your teacher writes it on the board, you can see which ones need to be changed. Now your teacher will have walked around and seen which of the sound pics that most people got right and which are the ones that need to change. It might have been that the one that needed to change the most was the number 6, the E. You might have chosen a different picture for the E speech sound. So that's the one that your teacher might say, right, let's look at the E speech sound cloud. Can you see the one that's in this word, frenzy? You might know that his name is Y, but you can have a look at all of them. So you can see that when we're doing our 4 code levels, the green, purple, yellow and blue, the first time that we really look at the E speech sound, this is the picture that we look at. He's not happy. Can you see it? Yes, it's called a Y, that's its name. But it's a picture for E, and there are all the other pictures for E. Look at the top ones. People, me, meat, seat, Eve, and so on. So in the word we looked at, which was frenzy, this is the one that we actually looked at. So this is the first one that you would have looked at in the yellow code level. Frenzy. Now with the Speedy Six, you could actually spend ages doing it because there's so many things we can do when we're exploring words. Activity 2 is where your teacher gives you a word. It can be any word at all. And again, I like really exciting words. I might have had a birthday at the weekend, in which case I had a celebration of my birthday. 21 again. Here's the word, celebration. So you look at it, but then you close your eyes and use your duck cans to really think about those sounds. So we'll come back to the sound pics. The sound pics that are used to change the speech sounds into a word on paper. That's called code mapping. So let's leave the word for a minute and think about how we code map. S, e, u, e, b, r, a, sh, n, celebration. S, e, u, e, b, r, a, sh, n, celebration. Now it doesn't matter that I've seen how to spell the word or if I already knew how to spell the word. I'm code mapping first, thinking about the speech sounds. What are the speech sounds I use when I say celebration? Now I say celebration. You might say it slightly differently, and that's fine. That's what you're going to play on your word. You might say celebration. You might say celebration, but you're still going to find it's the same speech sound lines, the same number of speech sound lines, even if you use slightly different speech sounds. So then once we've done the speech sound lines, we just need to play it just so that our brains really check that we really did use those speech sounds. We've used every line we need. S, u, I, b, a, celebration. What did you play on number 4? What did you play on it? I, or did you play or did you play You just need to think about what you said. It doesn't matter because the word is going to stay the same. But what did you say? What do you play here? Did you say If you did, you were spot on. You played the Then look at the word again. Now there are 10 speech sounds, 10 speech sound lines, but here there are 11 letters. So you know that at least one of the sound pics is going to be made up of 2 letters. I wonder which one it's going to be. So let's look at the word, and this time we're going to think about those sounds that we use. S, u, I, b, a, celebration. So this is what it must look like when it's code mapped. And again, it doesn't matter if I say celebration or celebration or celebration. It doesn't matter with my accent because it's still split this way. It's still code mapped in this way. Then we might think, is there anything in there that we've learnt today? It might be that you hadn't realised that the S at the beginning of celebration was represented by a C. You might have thought it was an S. So you look at the spelling clouds. We looked at S and all the pictures in the green level. We looked at what you think of as the S. But actually, if you're on the purple level or past the purple level, you would already know that a C could be a picture for S because you looked at it in the purple level. The example was 50 cents. You might have thought that the sh sound in celebration, you might have thought it was an SH when we looked at that like in fish. So let's look at the sh cloud and see it. So you'd look in here for the TI as the picture for sh, and you'll see that the example word is spatial. Spatial. So later that day you might have thought about those 2 words, frenzy and celebration, and tried to put them into some of your writing. But next time when you look at the word celebration, you'll know how it's split, and you'll also have learnt something today about the word celebration. It might have been that S, it might have been something else. Okay, on the next activity, you're going to listen to me. I'm going to say a sentence or a couple of sentences, and you're going to listen to a sound, because the sound is very frequent. It might not be in every word, but I'm going to use that particular speech sound a lot. So I want you to see if you can identify what that speech sound is. Close your eyes. 3 monkeys climbed a tree to find a yummy leaf. Can you see how happy they are? What speech sound did you hear a lot then? Let me say it again. I want you to hear the speech sound, and when you hear that particular speech sound, I want you to wiggle your fingers. 3 monkeys climbed a tree to find a yummy leaf. Can you see how happy they are? Okay, open your eyes. So the speech sound focus was E. Can you remember any of the words? 3, monkey, tree, leaf. Let me show you the writing. This is what I read. 3 monkeys climbed a tree to find a yummy leaf. Can you see how happy they are? Now follow the words with your eyes and listen to the speech sounds. I'm going to follow the sounds. You say the words. E. Nk, ease. K o I d a t e. Two. F I d a y e o eef. K a n y u s e. H ow. H ap e. The a r. Now what you might do is you might write down on your whiteboard the sound pics that you can see for that speech sound. I'm just going to put them in red here for you just to have a look. E in 3, monkeys. So there are all the pictures for E in this particular text. Then you might on your board think of any other sound pics you know for the speech sound E. Then we'd look at the cloud. So you'll cross-reference. You look at the sound pics you just looked at in that piece of text, look at them in the clouds, and see if you can see other sound pics that we didn't use. E. He's not happy. I think he's lost the game. Now teachers, in the members area, you'll see the spelling clouds as a poster. You'll see that there are, even though we use 67 clouds on the walls, there are actually 47 unique spelling clouds. So what you can do is plan out your 40 or so weeks of the year according to the spelling clouds. So you use that in this activity. So in the first week that you're doing this, you might have words that have got the s speech sound in them. And you can see in the cloud all the pictures for s. So you prepare a sentence that's got as many pictures of s as possible. When you do a, you're only going to need 1 day on that because there are only 3 pictures for the a speech sound. So as you go through your weeks of the year, just plan out how you're going to make sure you've covered them all. Give yourself a bit of leeway. As you know, we're not teaching these, we're just exposing the students to all the sound pics, and so they know where the cloud is on the wall. So when they spell a word at any time, they can hear those speech sounds and find the cloud. I love hold a sentence. Now hold a sentence is going to be a sentence at your code level, which means that you don't really have to think about how to spell the words, you just know how to spell the words because they're at your code level. The idea of this exercise is that you increase your working memory, so that increases how many words you can remember and then write down, which is why we don't want you to have to do difficult words, because otherwise you're going to have to stop and work out how to actually spell those words. So if you're working at the green level, you're only using s, at, p, it, n. You're using the s, a, t, p, I, n and some high frequency words. So you might be doing sentences like, the ant sat in the pan. The teacher's only going to say it twice, so you've got to hold it in your head. Then she'll say, go. So you hold it, write it, read it to check it's right, so you check it, and change it if you need to. Hold it, write it, read it, check it, change it. That's always the process. But you're going to do those sentences at your code level. Now to start off with, your teacher's actually going to do quite a long sentence, even though the sentences might be made up of words that are only perhaps in the green and the purple level. Let me give you an example. Okay, so are you listening? Because you're going to listen to the sentence and I'm only going to say it twice. So you've got to hold on to it in your head, ready to write it down quickly, because you're going to be holding it, write it, read it, checking it and changing it. Stan and the gentle giant ran up the hill and sat on the grass in the hot sun. I'll say it again. Stan and the gentle giant ran up the hill and sat on the grass in the hot sun. Write it. So this is when you would write it, read it, check it, change it. When somebody has done it and it's correct, the teacher will ask that person to become a conductor. So that person then goes around helping other people with their sentence. They might help them to remember it or help them to write it. They might check it with them. Also, the teacher, if somebody has finished it really quickly and done it really well, the teacher might actually extend it. So she might give you another sentence. Now, teachers, another way to do this is that you read out a green level sentence, and then for the purple level students, you read out a green level sentence and the same green level sentence and a purple level sentence, and you tell them to get on. And then for the yellow level children, you read out that green level sentence, the purple level sentence, and then a yellow level sentence. So they've got to hold on to 3 sentences. And you've guessed it, the blue level, they get the green, the purple, the yellow, and a blue sentence. So don't make the blue sentence too long, otherwise they're never going to remember it. It's a bit like that shopping game where you've got to remember the first object, then the second. The blue level students have already heard the green sentence 3 lots of times, and the purple sentence 2 lots of times, and the yellow level sentence once. There are code level speedy sentences in the members area, or just use the sentences on the back of the poster to start off with, because that's also going to help when students are doing the coding poster. For fluency, for those speedy sentences, I'm going to ask you to manipulate some speech sounds. The first one, I want you to change the f in the word float, like the boat's floating on the water. I want you to change the speech sound f into a b. What's the new word? Now I'm actually going to show you it. Float into bloat. I wonder if you know what the word bloat means. If I feel very bloated, I feel very full. Bloat. So it was just the first sound that we changed from the f oat into b oat. What if I took away the in that word? What's the new word? So bloat without the Now, although it can be a lot easier if I show you the word, I want you to do it just by listening to the sounds, because that will actually start to change your brain. So bloat, take away the all. You might even use your duck hands. B-all, oat. Then do your duck hands, but this time take out the all. So we'll go b-oat. What's the new word? See it? Bloat into boat. I might ask you to write the word rain. Duck hands, lines, numbers, and write the word rain. So you would choose the sound pick for and for a and for n. And then I might say to you, what about if you add in a sound pick? You might see if you can add one in to create a new word, or I might tell you one. I'm going to ask you to put a d at the beginning and tell me what the new word is. If we just listened, a n, put a d at the beginning. A n. It must be the word drain. I might have asked you to add a e at the end. Rainy. I might write rainy on the board a few times in different ways, and you've got to tell me which one looks right to you. And then I'll tell you which is the one in the dictionary, because that is the right one. That's the one the king chose. And in the meantime, it also gives you a chance to look at other pictures for the speech sound E. Now the next activity, I give you a word and I'll code it first of all for you. You can only change one sound pick at a time. So like if I gave you the word fish, you can change any of the 3 speech sound picks. You could change the f or the I or the sh. But remember, a sound pick's a sound pick. You can't split the sound pick. So you're going to change one of the sound picks. So you might have gone from fish to dish. So your teacher says go, and you do as many changes as you can. Keep going until she or he says stop, and then you see how many you got. And then you might swap it over with your partner next to you to see what they got, and also just to check that they really did only change one sound pick at a time, and also to see if you actually wrote real words. Now can you see here I've written a very strange looking word. It's not a real word, it's just a made up word. But I've given you the sound picks on the lines. Now you'd look at it first of all and you might think, CH, what could that be a picture of? Could be a picture for ch. And if you think it's a picture for ch, then you write all the pictures for ch above the lines. Now actually some of you, when you get really clever at this, might think, actually that might not just be a ch, that might be a sh, like in the word machine. And underneath the lines you could actually put all the pictures you know for sh. But to start off with, I really just want you to look at it and think, what could that speech sound pick be a speech sound of? And then write all the choices and use the clouds. So if you think it's a ch on number 1, have a look at your ch cloud and put all of the pictures for ch above it. Now all week what you can do is write words, but instead of the right sound picks, you're going to do the wrong sound picks. So you might think of a word like tin, but instead of writing it like with the letters T-I-N for the pictures for t-i-n, you're going to choose different pictures. So a different picture for t and for I and for n. It might look something like this with a PT and a Y and an NNE. And your friends or whatever, you could collect them all, but your friends have got to work out what the word could be. Some people get really, really good at this. Let me see if you can work it out. Here's my word. I know the word, but I've chosen the wrong sound picks. What do you think the word could be? Now I've actually code mapped it for you so that you can see there are 3 sound picks. So you're going to think, you're going to rack your brain and think, when have I seen an MB? What could that be a picture of? And the more you use your clouds, the quicker you're going to recall which they are. D. So the word was mud. I just chose the wrong sound picks. Look. Like in the word lamb. Like in the word partner. D. Like in the word paddle. I paddled down the river in my little boat. Mud. So that's it. That's your daily Speedy Six. And as you can see, you could spend ages on them, and it's really good for your brain. You're going to get really good with the clouds. And first of all, they all need to be up on the walls because you just won't remember the order. You need to know where to look for it on the wall. So if I said a sound like t, you would know on the wall where the t cloud is. Now, when you get to know where the clouds are and you get really familiar with the clouds, you can get your own spelling cloud keyring. So it's a portable one, and you can look through it. So you can quickly do the Speedy Six with your own portable speech sound cloud keyring. You're going to become amazing code crackers. You're going to get really, really proficient with code mapping, using your duck hands, your lines and your numbers. You're also going to get really good at self-editing. You're going to get really good at checking your work because you have to, because the speech sound frog likes to eat full stops, capital letters, change the words, change the spelling, and generally make mistakes in your work. So be very careful, really vigilant, look at what you're doing. I can't wait to hear how you all get on.